Hello Minnesota and happy Arbor Day. I'm Gary Johnson with the University of Minnesota, and here's what I do on here's what I do on every Arbor Day. I stealth plant. Ruh-roh, security, put this over your head.
Hi there, my name is Valerie McClanahan and I am the Urban and Community Forestry Coordinator from the Minnesota Department of Natural Resources. So, life is changing all of the time, but it's how we respond and adapt to these changes that truly makes us who we are. So maybe we can't all be together to celebrate Arbor Day, but we are still sharing in this world. And many of us are feeling this more now than ever. That is why this Arbor Day, I will be celebrating by making my yard more resilient and increase its health to fight climate change. There are so many things that we can do, whether you have a large tract of land or your nearest tree is the one in your city's boulevard. Consider offering to adopt your public city tree by watering it to help it grow and thrive. Or stop by a local tree nursery and pick up a climate adaptive tree for your own yard. For more Arbor Day and Arbor Month fun, check out the Minnesota DNR's Arbor Month webpage by going to dnr.state.mn.us/Arbor Month. Let's use the tools that we have to adapt and get through this together, one tree at a time.
We're going to celebrate Arbor Day this year by going for a walk around the neighborhood and showing some appreciation to the trees, which make it such a lovely place to live.
Hi!
Happy Arbor Day! Happy Arbor Day! Happy Arbor Day! Happy Arbor Day! Oh, that's so close. It's so close. Okay, sorry. Happy Arbor Day!
Hello everybody, this is Ryan Murphy with the Minnesota Certified Tree Inspector Program. In these times, we might be feeling many different types of emotions. Maybe we're feeling sadness, maybe we feel longing, maybe we are experiencing just a general existential confusion. Maybe we're drinking too much. Luckily, the world has produced a special sort of people that have left us records of their experiences of these states, the poets. And though, as Joyce Kilmer says, I think I shall never see a poem as lovely as a tree, I'll leave you with a poem from the German poet Goethe. Ginkgo biloba. This leaf from a tree in the east has been given to my garden. It reveals a certain secret, which pleases me and thoughtful people. Does it represent one living creature which has divided itself? Or are these two which have decided that they should be as one? To reply to such a question, I found the right answer. Do you notice in my songs and verses that I am one and two? So 3. The answer is 3, right?
Hello, my name is Hannibal Hayes. I'm the City Forester for the City of Minnetonka. I had plans to spend Arbor Day planting trees with some sixth graders and with my staff, Diana Price and Josh Obermeyer. However, due to COVID-19 and the restrictions placed upon us, that event has unfortunately been canceled, or at least, at the very least, postponed. So I'm going to be spending Arbor Day doing something that I've been meaning to do for about 5 or 6 years now, and that is to go through and study all of the native willow trees and shrubs here in Minnesota. Out in Minnetonka, we have a lot of natural areas. We've come across a lot of willow trees, and getting kind of sick and tired of just calling them some type of willow. So I plan on give you a little plug, using Welby Smith's Trees and Shrubs of Minnesota, which is an excellent book. Highly recommend everyone going out and buying it. But yeah, unfortunately, no city tree planting for me this year. However, get to do something that I've been meaning to do for a long time, and hopefully it'll benefit me in some way. So stay safe and try to get outside and never stop learning about trees, and try to put one in the ground eventually. All right, thanks, bye.
Hi, my name is Ashley Reichart, and I'm the Urban and Community Forestry Volunteer Programs Coordinator at the U of M, and I just wanted to share my thoughts on Arbor Day and what I plan to do to celebrate. Of course, every year we usually host different informational booths at Arbor Day celebrations. This year I was super excited to go back to Minneapolis as well as Eden Prairie, but unfortunately that's not going to happen. So instead, on Friday, I think what I'm going to do is just hang out in some of my local parks in Anoka and get to spend some time with some trees and in the quiet next to the river. So that'll be my plan. Of course, I'll probably end up pruning some trees in my yard as well, so we'll just add that to the list. But regardless, I hope everybody gets the opportunity to do something with trees, whether just hang out in your neighborhoods, planting some new trees in your landscape, anything to just spend a little time and appreciate trees a little bit more. Happy Arbor Day!
Hi everyone, my name's Lauren. I'm the City Forester with City of Eden Prairie. I wanted to say Happy Arbor Day to everybody. I know we're not quite celebrating it as we typically have in past years, but I think right now is a great time for people to get outside and enjoy our great park system in Minnesota. I'm kind of looking back on where we're at this year with Arbor Day, and I'm just really thankful that we have such beautiful parks and wooded spaces to get out right now and enjoy nature. So I hope everyone is getting outside, taking a moment to really improve your mental health, getting out and hiking, and staying safe. So this year for Arbor Day, our family is out and about. We're going to be hiking around Riley Woods here and just trying to clear our minds and get some relaxation. So hope you can do the same, and wishing everyone a great Arbor Day. Thank you.
Hi there, it's Rachel Coyle from the City of St. Paul. For Arbor Day this year, I am going to be going over to the Horton Park Mini Arboretum with some coworkers, and we're going to plant some trees and maybe prune some trees and mulch and do a little cleanup in the park. Usually we would be meeting a couple of classrooms over in the park and doing that sort of thing, but this year we're just going to be doing it on our own. And then maybe later in the evening, instead of going to the big block party that MPRB was supposed to be having, that I'm very sad is not going on, maybe I'll go to a park with my son and go for a walk and try to stay away from people. So happy Arbor Day, everyone. I hope you do something fun and enjoy the weather. I think it's going to be a beautiful day. Thanks. Bye.
Yeah, hi. So this year for Arbor Day, my plan is to go through my wood pile and pick out a new sitting log, maybe a sitting stump. The lawn chair outside my door broke, so I'm gonna make a new sitting stump to look at trees and think about trees on. So I hope that inspires you to maybe find your own stump I like birch. There's a big, somewhere in there, there's a great big birch stump. I think I'm gonna pick that one, but we'll find out. Happy Arbor Day.
Hello, my name's Tom Ritzer. I'm the Assistant Director for Land Care at the University of Minnesota Twin Cities campus. In honor of Arbor Day 2020 and in light of COVID-19, I encourage folks to get outside more often. I'm honoring Arbor Day by getting out in my own yard and spending time amongst the 20 trees that I've planted over the last several years. One of the great things about trees is they're immune to coronavirus, and therefore you don't need to maintain 6 feet of separation from trees, which is really handy if you're pruning them. So get out there and find a tree and enjoy Arbor Day. Thanks.
Hello everyone, happy Arbor Day. It's a weird Arbor Day this year. Arbor Day 2020, the year that I don't get to plant trees with volunteers. First time in 12 years. I'm not scrambling to get trees in the ground, get the site prepped. It's gonna look different this year. But what I have decided to do is take a walk in my community, look at all the different trees, be thankful for the new trees, pay some respect to the old ones. And I'm also planning on planting some trees on the boulevard in the street where I live. Something that we've lost. We've lost so many trees over the past 10 years of me living here. So I'm really excited to be able to plant trees right here where I live. I hope you find something lovely to do on Arbor Day. Hug a tree, love a tree, be kind to yourself, and be well. Happy Arbor Day.
Happy Arbor Day!
Hello, this is Dustin Ellis, Hennepin County Forester. And today, for this year's Arbor Day, I'm going to talk to you about what I really like to do with trees. And other than planting trees, I personally like to get misfit trees that have issues and recuperate them and utilize, maybe some dysfunctional trees. So here we have a ginkgo biloba that has a wicked curve in it, and I'm slowly trying to correct that curve. So what we've done here since the beginning of spring, and the tree's a little bit pliable now, I staked it pretty high on the tree with nylon strapping, and I use nylon strapping so it's flat against the stem tissue, and this is going to dig into your stem tissue. I'm going to be putting quite a bit of pressure on this tree. So what I do every week or so is come out with this ratchet strap and give it a few ratchets, and that's going to pull my tree. So in the next few weeks I'm going to put another strap here and give it quite a bit of tension and start to pull on this side as well to straighten the tree slowly. I'm going to be doing this. This is a pretty big tree to be doing this, so I'm going to be doing it slowly, and over the course of the summer I'm hoping to get a little of that curve out. It may not take care of it all, but I would like the leader to be straight so that it doesn't grow into the street. And this is going to be a fantastic tree, and there's no reason that it needed to be disposed of just because it had a few imperfections. So this is what I love to do with trees, is correct some dysfunction and still get utility out of trees that may not be as desirable. All right, have a great Arbor Day.
Hello, and happy Arbor Day 2020. I'm Ralph Sievert, and I'm standing along the shores of the Mississippi River in Bohemian Flats Park, amongst about 5,000 of the 9,400 new trees that will be planted throughout Minneapolis. And what better way to recognize Arbor Day than to think back about its founder, J. Sterling Morton. Now, Mr. Morton is well known for a very famous quote, and I'll read it so that I get it right. Arbor Day is not like other holidays. Each of those reposes on the past, while Arbor Day proposes for the future. Now, there's some things people don't know about Mr. Morton that I thought I would share. For example, he did graduate from the University of Michigan, and while it was a very contentious experience, he did overcome it and went on to do great things. Now, when Arbor Day was in its infancy, Gary Johnson and I thought, we should go and visit Mr. Morton and learn a little bit more about it. So we hitched up the horses and took that trip out to Nebraska City, and we visited with Mr. Morton in his mansion. And some things that you don't know about Mr. Morton is that he was quite the drinker. He did enjoy his scotch and fine cigars, and he did not like being called Julius, his real name. And in talking with Mr. Morton, I remember Gary saying to him, "Jay, this Arbor Day thing is going to catch on. I really think it will." And one of the reasons for that is because Arbor Day, it doesn't think about the past, it thinks about the future. You're planting a tree to benefit future generations. Well, you could see a little bit of twinkle in Mr. Morton's eye, and we didn't think much about it, and eventually we made the trip back to Minneapolis. And then later, eventually, we see this quote, the quote that I read that Mr. Morton is so famous for. Well, people don't realize that if Gary and I had not made that trip out to Nebraska City, you never would have heard that quote. And now you know the rest of the story. Happy Arbor Day.
Ready? I'm going to celebrate Arbor Day by taking a walk around my house, my neighborhood, checking out some cool signs of spring like this box elder leaves that are just coming out, flowers. There's some hedges. The cottonwood buds are getting really huge. All the maples are going crazy. I'm sure it'll be a little bit longer for the oaks, but I'm going to celebrate Arbor Day by taking a walk and looking for all those great signs of spring.
Arbor Day may look a little different this year, but that doesn't mean that you can't celebrate. So to celebrate, I'm going to go to my state park and hug a really old aspen tree.
Arbor Day is a little weird this year, but that doesn't mean that you can't still get outside and appreciate the trees.
Hello, I'm Jill Johnson, an urban forester with the U.S. Forest Service. And for Arbor Day this year, I'm going to write a few thank you notes. Thank you, Scott's Pine on campus, for adding character to the otherwise boring building across from my office. I miss you. Thank you, American Elm on the next block over, for giving my eyes and mind a break during long Zoom. Thank you, city trees, along streets, in parks, and in yards, for providing essential services every day, even in the face of adversity and difficult conditions.
Thank you, arborists, urban foresters, and volunteers, for keeping our community trees healthy and safe. I wish you all a very happy Arbor Day.